Well, hello. This is Eric that just came in, and I am Carol, and we are the famous Flirting with Reality.
World famous.
World famous.
Woo! We're going to talk about amazing stuff. So hang in there.
Yeah, we're like Zimbabwe is our main location. They just love us there. Oh, and also Australia. Hi.
Yeah.
Good day, mate. Nice to see you.
So anyway, I guess we're just tonight. We're not talking about anything specific. Just
we're going where the wind takes us. Let's just be fucking playful. Why not take it all so seriously?
Yeah, that's all I ever do. I don't.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
I'm not serious.
So let's just say if this is a movie that you're participating in, why do you take it serious? Can you just enjoy the fuck out of it? Be playful with it?
Yeah, which I always like the analogy of if you're dreaming. I think because everybody does that, right? So if you're dreaming and you know you're dreaming, then you're like, oh, I know I'm dreaming. And so you manipulate your dream.
Yeah.
But
I do that all the time. I'm a goddess in my dream.
But you can't talk to people about if this is a dream right here, then why don't you manipulate it? Because people go, oh, it's like they're too conscious or something. And so they don't want to manipulate or what is it? Like they're scared, like, I guess it's scary.
I think it's possibly part of that ego thing that's keeping you, it doesn't want to lose itself. So I think that's part of it.
What do you mean? Can you explain that? Like what?
Your ego tries to survive. It doesn't want you to live from a conscious state, from that true self. And it's that thing that talks to you and is like, why don't you just take it easy today and
just trying to like keep you down kind of thing?
Have a piece of pizza and don't have that green drink that's gonna like make you feel more clear-minded and healthy. And yeah, just that's what I think it's part of that. Like it's part of that interfering, and then you have everything that you're brought up with and told, right? So I'm sure a lot of people have had like religious influences, and that would immediately like be no, we just can't talk about that, because then what does it mean? What does God mean then? I mean, I'm sure it's a lot of things that cult people.
I guess everybody probably has their own issue. And for me, projecting, my biggest issue is like fear and money supply. And I think that that'd probably apply to a lot of people when you talk about, because I think that's, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it seems like one of the biggest dreams people have in life in general is, what do they do for a career? What do they do to make money? And I think it's also the number one thing that people get stifled with is they go, oh, I've been working at my job for 15 years and I'm a secretary, and I can't quit because I've got benefits. Well, how am I going to get health insurance? If I start doing my own thing, I can't get health insurance. And then I got kids. It's like there's all these excuses and all these fears, which are legit fears, I think. But I think it's don't you think it's probably one of the biggest regrets in life is like showing up on your deathbed and being like, fuck, I give 50 years to, AT&T or something.
You are, because I don't like my grandma. I don't think she
didn't care.
No, my dad didn't care. He enjoyed his job, and in fact, he feels like he retired early and misses it. So I don't think that's all people's issues. I'm sure that there is a large percentage of that.
Well, so I think you're right. But this is me projecting again, as I think there's like, what is your dream in life? And I think, I guess it heavily applies to me. Like my dream in life has a lot to do with a career, how I make money. What, I don't really want to, but your dad will never watch this. What do you think your dad's dreams, like, did your dad have dreams, you think? Like life dreams? Or was he just a simple dude that like wanted a wife
No,
and
I think
family
he
and
wanted
job?
to
Or
retire with his wife somewhere warm and travel and you
American dream?
yeah, live out his life, take his grandkids on trips places. Yeah, I think he had dreams, but they weren't I don't think everybody has like a dream to build their own business. I just don't that's not everybody's dream. So, yeah, his dream was way more simple.
It'd be super nice to have simple dreams because they'd be way easier to accomplish. Like if your dream
He's
was just to work a job and
also
work hard, it'd be great.
practically a millionaire right now.
Yeah.
Well, a half $500,000 probably.
Yeah.
So he's sitting pretty good.
Yeah. And I guess it just depends what you want to do, right?
But he doesn't really spend it.
But here's the thing is, so somebody like your dad who's got more simple dreams, how do you talk to somebody like that and say, if you're dreaming, would you manipulate your dream? Because it'd be like, yeah, I just don't, he doesn't want to do anything. He's just like, I'm doing what I want to do.
He really is.
That's
I
interesting,
think
I
he's
guess.
very unusual though. Very unusual.
Well, yeah, so I guess that would be interesting to know is how many people, I feel like a lot of people have dreams, even if it's like, you know what? I don't know what like a stereotypical woman would want to do. Become a princess. I don't know what they want. But I feel like everybody has a dream. Like some guys like, man,
I
I have
hope you're still going to watch us, that one woman who's watching us, please.
but it's like some guys out there going like, I want to open a restaurant. Like it's a dream, but he's held back. That's the guy that you want to talk to and be like, well, imagine that you're a dream right now and then you're manipulating it. Like that's what you want to talk about. Like you can't really talk to somebody like your dad and be like, you're in a dream. He's like, okay, well, what do I do now? And I'm like, I don't know. What do you want to do? Well, nothing. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
Point.
So, but I think there's a lot of fear. I mean, well, how many people, especially today, work jobs that they hate?
A lot.
But that's what I'm assuming your dad didn't do. Your dad
He
didn't.
didn't.
He didn't work a job he hated.
He loved his job.
So that's different because if you love your job, like if you work at McDonald's and you love your job, shoot, man, that's awesome. That's good for you. But it's like, that's what I'm saying. You can't really talk to your dad about the dream. But most people, I would say 99% of people don't live their life like that. I'd say they live their life through regret. And we talk about when you're living in regret, that's what we talk about. I think it brings on health problems, it brings on resentment, and like it shortens your life. And it's a miserable place to be. And I think you've got to look at how you feel in life. And if your job's holding you back, then I mean, it's something you have to change, in my opinion.
It's true, but my dad also has he's he's grateful for everything he's ever had. He looks at his job and he'll say to you like his brother got him his first job at a grocery store and like he's grateful for that opportunity and it's just continued on throughout his entire work life. He's been super grateful for everything that he's been able to do and that it put him in a position to enjoy life. So I'm not sure everyone or how many people look at their jobs that way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. But that's how I like to live my life. I like to just that's why I like to say like I don't have any fear, which is it's true in a lot of ways. Like I don't have a lot of fear, but I do have like a lot of fears of, as I was saying, like money and security, you know, that a job can give you. And that's why for me it was important to start my own business, because it was that hard and it was scary, you know, to face it. But I know I'm the type of person, like, if I would have worked a corporate job for another year, I would have lost my mind. I could not I couldn't handle it now. Like, if I had to go get a job, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to McDonald's, I guess. I don't know. I'm not going to the corporate. I would rather make less money. That's how turned off I am with the corporate world. I can't stand all this just stuff that they make you do.
Yeah, I mean, that's understandable.
It would drive me crazy.
It can be a complete turnoff for sure. So let me just throw this out there. So let's just look at worst case scenario in life and that you lose everything. Do you think life would be over at that point?
Well, not for me, because I'm not the quitting type.
Yeah.
It would actually be motivation
Yeah.
for me. In fact, I really think that um, you know, being like in abundance is actually, well, I think it's the worst thing for. It couldn't be the worst thing for me, but I think it's the worst thing for most people. You
Yeah,
know,
we've talked about that and I think you're right. I think it's not helpful.
yeah. Well, I don't know if you remember me telling you this, but when I was doing good in my last business and everything started like really flowing to the point of I paid off all my bills, and it was the first time in my life I ever had money in the bank, and no bills and no loans or anything. And you know, like, I just got lazy. I got lazy and I didn't want to work. And it was just like, why am I working? You know, because like, what's the goal now? You know, I don't want yachts. I don't want summer homes. Like, I'm a very simple person,
Yeah.
so I'm like, I don't have anything really to buy, and I've got security. And so what I did is I tricked myself, and I took all the money I had in savings, and I just put it into stocks. And so much so that I couldn't pay like the electric bill, I couldn't pay my monthly bills that month unless I got my ass to work. And that worked. So the next month I would do the same thing. I would just take all of that money and I'd put it into an investment. Put it into investment. And I just constantly cash myself out and put pressure on myself to get to work. And it made me happier, and it made me work harder.
So can that like ever make you feel like, to me, I know if I have no money and everything is lost, there's no house, there's no gas to get somewhere. I know it's not going to stop me from living the very best life I possibly can.
Well, here's the interesting part to that, because I think if you're talking about 2015, the year 2015, I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna get back up. I'm gonna like get to work, and I'm gonna get some stuff done. But it's interesting in today's world, because I feel like this is what you and I have been talking about, but I feel like the opportunity is kind of washing away to even just be middle class. I feel like middle class is just getting annihilated so badly that it's almost like we're not having a choice, that you're going to either like figure out how to be super successful, or you're just going to be poverty. So
Okay, so let's say you're poverty. Do you think you could be happy in poverty?
yeah, I think I could be happy. You know, I think you gotta really be mindful and figure out, because that's the thing is, I think I think when you're put into poverty, I think you're also like brainwashed into a state of mind. you know, but this is what we talk about with like the Native Americans. The Native Americans, they slept in teepees and they went hunting. So technically, like Native Americans or cavemen or whoever you want to talk about, they were in poverty, but not really. Poverty is it's a construct. It's a human construct that we invented.
Yeah, I think so too.
But here's the thing: is like, how are you going to feel about sleeping in some like hut that you made in the middle of the woods in the middle of the winter when it's raining and you're wet and you're
Yeah.
freezing and you haven't eaten? I mean, that's kind of demoralizing, you know? I mean, how, you know, because you're not used to it.
It is, but people used to do that. Like not like what, 100 years ago when you were in your wagon with your horses trying to make a homestead. I mean, I think you could get used to it.
Used to it, but is the problem that we have comparisons?
I don't know what you mean.
Well, you have a comparison of some guy is over there living in his mansion and you're living in a straw hut.
Oh,
It's the comparison. But if you're in a straw hut and everybody else is just living under the weather and sleeping on the ground, like you're like, hey, I'm living pretty good over here, and you're happy. So it's like comparison.
yeah, I mean, I guess there could be that. It's an interesting subject.
Was the quote I heard on Joe Rogan was comparison is the thief of joy. And I think that could be true. It's but that's where we're at today too, is like, oh my God, we have so much.
Yeah.
The a person in poverty in the United States has so much, but they're comparing themselves to Elon Musk or somebody who just does whatever they want, and then they go, oh well, pity me, I'm poor. You know, and like I don't like I mean,
It's weird to me because we're not really shoppers. Like we don't really buy a lot of things, but I consider like us to be in extreme abundance. And it's largely a mindset
yeah.
because probably the biggest splurge that we splurge on is plants right now. And it's not like a big splurge. Like you bought a splendid plant and a couple of
Yeah.
pots.
But here's the funny thing. So say you say you like the thing is like I'm like say you and I like try to put it in my head and I'm like I wouldn't want to do it, but say you got like credit cards that had like a $300,000 limit and you could afford to pay the monthly payments, and so you just go out there and spend 300,000. Like first of all, I'd be like, no, I don't want to spend the 300,000. Like that's me. I'm like I don't spend the money not because I don't have the money, but because I don't want to.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in.
A bunch of things.
I mean,
Yeah.
for me to like buy a new truck, I would literally probably have to win the lottery, and even then, I'd probably want to like a 1975 F100,
Yeah.
and then build it myself.
Yeah.
It's just the way I go. But yeah, we don't live like everybody else. Like we have old cars. You know, like we don't buy like new furniture every year. Our plates are from Goodwill.
Yeah.
And the only reason we got those is because my mom bought them for us. I don't even know where the other plates came from, but that's how important like stuff is to us.
Yeah.
I think that the old plates that I have, they might have come from the dollar store, but at some point, I think it was in 2008. They used to have this roadside cleanup in Salt Lake City where people put all the stuff they don't want on the side of the road, and a lot of people threw away like some pretty cool stuff. But I picked up a bunch of plates on the side of the road, got them for free. I got no shame in that.
I don't
I
think
don't. I
it's
don't.
shameful.
Yeah, I don't. It doesn't bother me at all. But that's
I
how
think
important
people
things
should
are.
share things. I think that's an awesome way not to waste and
Oh no,
what
they're thrown away.
but knowing that people could come pick it up.
I don't know if you're supposed to pick it up, but there's a lot of people that are like
No.
cruising through people's stuff.
See, I think it's a good thing. Like, why put that in a landfill if people can use it?
Yeah, I mean, but the thing about that too is, if my kids come over and they drop a plate on the ground, hey, who cares?
I mean, that too. But I like our plate. I love the plates your mom picked out. I mean,
Yeah,
but again, it's no love loss if they're broken, but I enjoy them.
yeah. But anyway, to your point, we don't even know what it would be like to live this lifestyle that the average American lives. We have no idea. And the funny thing, that's what we're saying, is I don't think it would feel good. The only thing I would like to spend a ton of money on is traveling.
Me too.
That's the only thing I would spend a
Experiences,
ton of money.
yeah.
Maybe not even experience. Like, it depends what you call an experience.
I think traveling is an experience.
It is, but an experience is not zip lining to me. You know what I mean?
No.
But I think a lot of people call that an experience.
No, I think traveling is an experience. Like
Yeah.
just literally going to an Airbnb in Poland is an experience. You don't have to like go to every single possible tourist destination there.
Yeah, but I could go to an Airbnb in New Mexico,
Yeah, me too.
or Texas or Maine or like wherever.
I literally could do that and just walk around the town and it's an experience.
Yeah.
I don't have to buy everything or go do zip lining or whatever the fun thing is to do there.
Yeah.
I think it's lucky that we're both that way.
Yeah, but I mean, same. Like, so if we went to Vegas, it wouldn't be super important to me to like go to expensive buffets or
Oh no, me either.
anything like that. But yeah, I guess it's funny to think about is we don't live in this crazy abundance like other people do. In fact, speaking of Vegas, we went, I think, 3 years ago now. And I was like, I'm just, for the first time in my life, I'm just going to I'm not going to limit the money I spend. I'm just going to spend as much as possible. And I didn't know, I thought that meant $20,000, I didn't know what that meant. And it only ended up being a little bit, but it made me realize my free flowing, not limiting money is just what normal people are doing on the daily.
I still don't think that was completely normal. We had a cooler and like we ate out of the cooler on occasion and I just don't think that was the normal American splurge. It was like you were very generous with your kids and yes, it was like not your normal self. There was no limit, but I still don't think it was to the level of what other people would have done.
But that's what we're talking about is my splurging is the average American normal. And then their splurging is I'm going on vacation and I'm eating like extra ice cream every night.
Oh,
like
I'm staying in the best
balls out.
room possible.
They're like trying to spend more money.
Yes. Yeah.
Figuring out how to, like, what can I do to spend more money?
Yeah.
Like, let's go gamble $1,000 on black. Let's go do it and just blow it. Like, I think that's what splurging is to other people.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call us supreme minimalists because I know there's actually people who literally have like 6 outfits in their closet. And so we're not that extreme, but we're pretty, like, we don't spend a lot of money.
Well, the thing is, too, is, we're cutting back on spending because of the way everything's going. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, I don't really have much more to cut back on. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to cut back on now. It's all I buy is food. I don't normally, before cutting back, I don't normally buy clothes. Nobody ever believes me when I say that. But I wear the same clothes for 3, 4, 5. I mean, I've got my pullovers like 20 years old, like I wear clothes for a long time. And think about that. A lot of people are buying clothes on the monthly.
Oh, yeah.
Weekly.
Daily sometimes.
But that's what I'm saying is like, those people have so much they could cut back on.
I remember girls in junior high school, and that was a long ass time ago, who never wore the same outfit twice.
What?
Yes. I went to a ritzy junior high school in the 8th grade, and there literally were girls who, like, they talked about it. It was like,
What?
yes, they didn't wear the same thing twice.
How is that a possible thing?
Well, the school I went to was a very rich school at the time.
Yeah, but what are you talking about? Like back then, you would have been talking about $100 at least for an outfit.
Oh, I don't think so.
Well, what are jeans? Jeans had to have been 50, $75, right?
No,
Really?
I think they were like $25,
No,
$30.
Levi's were 25. I remember because I had to work within a budget. Levi's
Okay,
were like
maybe
25.
Guess pants were like $50 or $45. They weren't $70.
Okay. You're a little bit older than me, maybe that's why.
Yeah.
But I remember, yeah, like Guess and Lucky and Gerbeau, they were all like $80. I remember being like $80 for a pair of pants.
Yeah,
No, didn't we? We walked past Old Navy the other day at the mall, and I'm curious about how much a pair of Old Navy pants are. Weren't they like $50 or something?
55, I think.
Damn.
We were
For Old Navy.
Yeah, they used to be like $10, $12. I don't even know. They were super cheap. I remember people first like telling me about that store, and they were telling me how cheap it was, and we didn't have one.
Oh.
And I was like, really? That's because the only stores in Alaska at the time were expensive stores like Nordstrom's, J. Jacobs. But you could not go anywhere other than Value Village and get something that was $10. So when they were telling me about this store and that it was new stuff, I was like, dang, really? It seemed impossible.
Oh. Yeah. Back in the day when you didn't just have online shopping.
Yeah.
You had to like look forward to going to places and seeing things.
Yeah.
Like in junior high when I lived in Wyoming, we used to have to drive 2.5 hours to buy clothes. And I'm not saying I could have went and, okay, yeah, I could have bought clothes locally, but I'm talking about like buying, I would have had to buy clothes at like Ace Hardware. And I'm not saying Ace Hardware that had an apparel section. I'm just saying Ace Hardware had like an Ace Hardware shirt or like some Rustler jeans, or, we had to travel 2.5 hours away. And if you didn't want to travel 2.5 hours away, you know what you did? You ripped open the Sears catalog and you ordered from the Sears catalog.
Sears or J.C. Penney's, yeah.
Oh, I should explain to my kids what the Sears catalog is. They'd be like,
I was thinking about that the other day because that was kind of like a thing to do around Christmas time, is look in there and see.
Circle what you want.
Yeah. But other than that, I mean, it was like once a year you did that.
Oh, I looked through the Sears catalog all the time.
Oh, we didn't have it available all the time. I don't know why. Maybe my mom just didn't keep one. But yeah, so that was like a big deal to look on there and dream about some of these possible toys or clothes that you could possibly have.
Yeah, you know what you did when you were a young boy with the Sears catalog?
What?
Look at the like bras section. Because there was no such thing as porn, right? Like if you had a porn magazine, like you were like abundant, but that's what you did. Like you looked in the bra section, you're like, oh, bra, and it's like, it's not like they had like these super like Victoria's Secret bras. They're like,
yeah, they were like the Playtex mom,
yeah,
birthing looking bras.
Took what you could get back then,
Yeah.
I mean,
it was a different.
I'm not the only one. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess that the Sears catalog bra browsing was conversation stuff.
Yeah, a little bit. I don't really know where to go from there. We've like topped. That's like the height.
You didn't look at the men's Fruit of the Loom section?
No, wasn't a thing.
Oh, did girls ever talk about porn when you were a kid?
No. No, I found some magazine in like a dumpster. We used to go dumpster diving for fun, and I was pretty shocked. I don't know how old I was. I was pretty young.
You're
So
like,
it was
what is
just like
these women doing?
disgusting to me. Like, because I was like 7, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not sure I understood. Like, I remember seeing my first porn magazine, and I was like, "What's going on here?" Like, what?
Yeah, this was just kind of like I almost thought it was like a fantasy thing. Like I had no idea what I was seeing. But no, I think girls are more on the like you watch Grease Lightning and like fall in love with John Travolta type. Like we're
Watch
more like
Twilight.
fantasy type. It needs to be a little more than a picture, I think, for women. I
Is it?
can't speak for all women, but I think men are very visual
Yeah.
and women are more like you need more than just the visual.
That's what I'm saying. I think everybody criticizes porn, which I kind of criticize it too. But I think everybody criticizes porn and men. But I brought this up so many times to women. Is nobody's criticizing all these little girls that are watching Twilight, but it's really the same thing.
I don't think it's quite the same thing.
It's fantasizing about unrealistic expectations.
I don't think it's quite the same thing.
It's not
Because
quite.
there is an addiction that goes on usually with porn.
And Twilight.
What's the addiction? You watch a movie and then you're like, oh, he's cute.
Oh, well, think about what happened to Twilight and these girls. They got so obsessed with it.
Yeah, I think some girls did. And those are the same girls that get obsessed with Taylor Swift. Is that porn?
No, it's not. That's not the same thing.
Why not? Because
Well, if they're
doing the
lesbians,
same thing.
maybe. But
So it has to be sexual.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So here's the big problem with boys watching porn. Well, there's a couple, but one of the biggest that I see with it is it gives this unreal expectation of like what a woman is. A woman isn't what you see on porn. She doesn't necessarily look like that. She doesn't act like that. You can't. I mean, think about like porn where you're like slapping the woman or like it's like there's like abusive porn, and I like that's not good to think that that's what sex is. There's a lot of problems of like what boys when they watch porn, what they interpret sex to be, but you can't watch Twilight and expect a man to run 900 miles an hour across the United States to save you from another vampire. Because if you have that expectation, you're going to be let down.
I don't think this is the same thing.
This is what I go through with everybody, and it'll take you a while, but you'll come around. You'll understand.
No, I think it might be like determinism. I don't agree with you on this because one, they would need to make it like a habitual, like they can't stop watching
I think they
Rob
do.
Pattinson or whatever his name is. Like they need to see him all the time, and then they fantasize about him doing this stuff with them. I'm not sure that that's what's happening.
For sure. Don't you remember there used to be like I don't remember their names in Twilight, but there was Team Jacob and Team whatever the guy's name was. They were on teams, and they'd have like bumper stickers and like.
That's because you think they're cute. I mean, so this is the level of, to me, Sports Illustrated Bikini Edition. That is not porn. This is kind of more along the same lines as Twilight.
No, I don't think so. I think women are getting a dopamine dump when they're fantasizing about Twilight. Twilight and 50 Shades of Grey. Like, I guess that one's a tough one because that's kind of a sexual movie, but same thing. Like women are like, oh, I'm going to meet some rich guy. And then all of a sudden, like,
where does this come from? I don't think that's what's happening.
Well, that's because you don't do it, and so you don't think other women do. I'm telling you.
I just don't think that that's happening.
What part?
Oh, women watch 50 Shades of Grey and they're like, oh, I'm going to meet my Mr. 50 Shades.
100%. You know, all the like when we were kids, like one of the popular things was all these old women who would read those books that had like Fabio on the front, right on the cover.
Yeah, my grandma liked romance.
Yeah, what do you think that was? That's woman porn.
I think it's
Women
a
don't.
fantasy for sure.
Yeah, women don't need the visual; they need the mental, and that's what Twilight is. That's what Fabio is. That's what 50 Shades of Grey is. It's this idea, like that's how women get off, is like fantasizing about some knight in shining
Have you
armor.
spoken with women who have told you these things?
I just know. I just know.
Okay, women, you have to
Oh,
comment. You
okay. So
have to.
okay. So wait. So you think tons and tons and tons and tons of women liked Twilight because it was a good movie?
I think that they thought it was fun,
No,
and
no,
yes,
no. How come?
yes,
How come the equal amount of men didn't like it if it was such a good movie?
because it was geared towards young girls.
I'm saying
That doesn't mean it's like porn to
it
them.
stimulated them. Yes, for sure. What's your equivalent? What's woman's equivalent of porn?
I think 50 Shades would probably be a little closer, but it's still not there yet. And you'd have to let me think on that to come up with something.
I think women. I think like a woman's dream is like to find this perfect man and have children with him and have him be like this awesome man that like is just perfect in every way. I think that's what woman porn is fantasizing about this man that they can have families with. Where if you
How
look
is
at,
that the same as porn?
because men don't sit there and go, oh man, I can't wait to meet this woman of my dreams and have kids with her. And like there's a percentage of guys do, but most guys are just like, she's hot, I want to have sex with her. Like men are like sexual. You know what I mean? It's like our rooster outside. He's just like, I've got like 6 different women and I want to have sex with all of them. And the women are like, I think the rooster likes just me. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't understand, you don't understand.
I don't understand. I don't. I'm not on the same page at
I
all
mean,
with this. I think the two are vastly different. Men watching porn or women, it's not the same as Twilight.
okay. I mean, whatever you want to say, but I think there's women that watch this stuff. I think there's a lot of women that watch this stuff that get involved in the fantasy and they get the dopamine and they get the like everything going on about it. I think it's I mean, like, listen, how many women do you think have masturbated to the Twilight guys? A lot.
Not sure.
I'm telling you.
They were boys.
Fabio, women were just lusting over
He
him,
was
like
not that great.
because I don't even know what those
Sorry,
fantasy.
Fabio.
I don't even know what those novels are about, but it's all about just some guy like being the hero and like, woo, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I think those romance novels are probably going to be as close to porn that I can think of right at this moment for women.
so why the romance novel but not Twilight? It's a romance movie.
Well, I'm talking like the romance novels, they get into them, they're like trading them in for the next romance novel. It's
It's an
something they're
addiction.
constantly doing. Twilight is a movie that you watch once or twice.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you got me there, but I think they're thinking about it all the time. They're talking to their friends about it all the time. I mean, when it was a thing, it was all the time. And I think they probably I don't keep up on it, but I'm sure there's what about like Sex in the City, like I think women watch stuff like that. Like there's series.
That was about four women who were living their lives in New York City.
I never watched it, but I'm just trying to come up with examples of what a woman would watch that's stimulating her. Anyway, I don't know how you started this conversation, but
You brought up how you used to look at the Sears catalog. You steered us in this direction.
well, it's
Anyway, I'd like you women to vote and let Eric know if he's right.
or
I think that'd be great.
Tell me what is woman porn then?
I just told you the closest thing right now that I can
Romance
think of
novel?
is romance novels.
That's what I was saying. That was my whole point in the beginning. But Twilight is part of that.
Twilight is no, it's not the same thing. And I'm talking about certain women who will like buy the book, finish it, go get the next book. They're like addicted to that feeling that they get when they read those books.
So let me put it this way: how many girls watched Twilight and were legitimately head over heels for those guys? Like
I think
legitimately
having a
in
crush
love.
on a boy when you're a young girl is not the same as porn.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, how about you watching 300?
I had a crush on. No,
You don't enjoy watching 300?
it was like amazing to see all those men's bodies, but it was not. I'd never seen anything like that, and it was like, holy shit, men look like this.
It's like a version of porn
somewhere in this world.
A version of woman porn. Women don't want to watch.
No, because I didn't then go and say, I need that DVD so I can watch it all the time and see those men's bodies and masturbate. No, it's not the same thing.
Because you had it in your head and you locked it. Kept them in there.
No, I didn't even masturbate to 300 men.
More than 10 times.
Ever. These are not the same things.
They're the same thing.
No, I think you're projecting how you would feel if you were a young girl watching it. And you can't do that because you're a man.
Well, I mean...
We need votes. Only from women, though.
Yeah.
Only women can vote.
We'll have one viewer that'll vote. I guess
maybe it's a female.
Yeah, okay. I won't get into it. Yeah, you'll come around. You'll understand.
I mean, I just think we think differently sometimes, and this is one of those instances. And it's no big deal. You have your reality, I have mine with it. It's fine.
Yeah, okay. Well, so what do you think? You want to leave it on that note? On woman porn? What is woman porn?
Yeah, we can leave it on that. Let the audience decide.
Okay.
Our one audience member.
Yeah, just anybody comment on what is woman porn. If you're a woman that watched Twilight, tell Carol how wrong she is, because I know you're out there going like, Team Jacob. What's the other guy? I'm gonna be offending whoever. Jacob and
I don't know. His name is
Robert Patton.
Pattison or something. I don't know his Twilight name.
Yeah, you're crazy. You just have to think about it.
I almost thought of it.
Patterson, Robert Patterson, right?
Yeah, but that's not his Twilight name.
Oh,
that's his real name.
I don't have an idea what his Twilight name is. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, that's all I gotta say.
Me too.
Okay, I'm not talking about YouTube and Spotify. You should know. Okay, goodbye.